after the press briefing, which the chairperson has fully written, there will be no need for an exchange. It will be purely a press briefing. After that, the press briefing will be closed. The chairperson is exit. At this time, I want to welcome the executive chairperson of the Liberia Anti Corruption Commission, Cllr Edwin Kla Martin. Welcome.
Thank you very much, the Executive Director of the Liberia Anti Corruption Commission. For and on behalf of the Liberia Anti Corruption Commission, I want to welcome members of the press to this all-important briefing. This briefing will cover specifically our progress day at the Commission and also results and court action for investigations that were covered for the past 4 months of this year. As you can see, members of the press, the Commission in which we are today is fully renovated. From the interior part of the Commission to the exterior part of the building is fully renovated and decorated to represent an image of an integrity institution. During my takeover on the 22nd day of July 2021, you were present and observed the environment of this building. But today, as you can see, the best evidence speaks for itself that the Commission is in full swing. And we are prepared by the ambience of this Commission that will take on the war on corruption. On the issue of our ties with international partners, I'm happy to report to the press that the Commission is in good working relationship with our international partners and our embassies from other countries. We have good working relations with the United States Embassy, the Swedish Embassy, the UNDP, the World Bank, African Development Bank, USIWA. Because of our active involvement in the combat of corruption in Liberia, the LACC was 2 days ago nominated as a member of the Association of Anti-Corruption Authorities in Africa. We are proud of our membership. That shows that we are prepared and in full swing. And also we have met the benchmark and the anticipation of our colleagues from our neighboring countries and those in Africa. We are also members of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission of Nigeria. And also we have been recognized by the Independent Commission Against Corruption in Mauritius. We are happy to say that the Commission has taken a dramatic turn from the past time to the present, and under our able leadership, we are happy to be part of this international organization that have recognized our effort in the clamp down corruption. Also, we have been recognized by the Network of Anti-Corruption Institutions of West Africa, NACIWA. So I'm happy to report to the press that the Liberia Anti Corruption Commission has gained international recognition and is part of these international bodies that are also fighting corruption in their respective countries in Africa. The LACC over the period was also successful to work with local CSO, and our collaboration and working with them, we're happy to report to the press that we work with Cllr, Accountability Lab, the Coalition of Civil Society, Hope Before Girls, and etc. These are institutions that serve as ambassadors for the LACC to ensure that we all jointly declare war against corruption in Liberia. They are our closer partners, and they are working with us to make sure that the war against corruption succeeds, at least to draw Liberia on the minimization of corruption. Over the past 2 to 3 days or a week, the Liberia Anti Corruption Commission was happy to have as its guest Francis Ben Kamfala, ACC Chairperson of Cllr. He was with us. He paid visit at the commission. He also promised to work with the LACC on so many fronts in the fight against corruption in Africa. He also pledged that he will foster international links for the LACC in Africa. He congratulated the LACC for the work we've done at the commission for the past 4 months. For the LACC to sustain the war on corruption, the Board of Commissioners elected to create 3 new programs at the Commission in order to aid the Commission in its fight against corruption. We have now the Access Recovery Unit, the Division of Intelligence and Surveillance, and the Monitoring and Evaluation Program. These 3 new programs will take effect 2022, and they will serve as a booster to our fight against corruption. On the issue of access declaration and verification, the Liberia Anti Corruption Commission has been strongly involved with access declaration and verification exercise of public officials. Since 2018, under the current government of President George Weah, we have received asset declaration papers from a total of 578 public officials. These declarations are coming from the executive, the legislature, and the judiciary. The LACC is happy with the extraordinary commitment of the judiciary followed by the executive branch in this direction. On the issue of verification, the LACC is currently verifying the assets of 100 past government officials. We intend to clear the backlog before moving to current government officials. The verification process is in advanced stages, and we are happy to report that key officials at the higher level of the past government are involved in the verification process. Corruption risk assessment. Corruption risk assessment is a preventive tool meant to understand the institution's vulnerability to corruption. This is not an investigative exercise. It's a preventive exercise that the LACC is using to make sure that we prevent corruption at government institutions. And we're happy to report to the press that with the support of the African Development Bank through the Project Management Unit at the Ministry of Finance, for supporting 3 risk assessments for the following institutions: the Liberia Electricity Corporation, the LEC, the Liberia National Police, and the Liberia Immigration Service. The reports of these assessments are ready and will be forwarded to the institution involved in order to apply the recommendations made to prevent corruption. So those reports are ready, and they will be sent to the relevant institutions where the risk assessment was conducted, and they will now see the faults and see how best they can have those things amended to make sure that the issue of corruption at the institution don't exist. The following government institutions are now the next phase for the risk assessment by the LACC. The Ministry of Commerce, the National Identification Registry, Wash Commission, and the Central Bank of Liberia. These are the institutions that will work to make sure that we conduct our assessment and will subsequently forward the report to them in order to see where the pitfalls are. On the issue of restitution through the courts, the sum total in Liberian dollar on restitution through the courts amount to Liberian dollar $32,894,407.05. So, no matter where the party will make a plea bargain in court, the restitution will be done through the courts, and our legal department is working towards that. Now, on the issue of investigation awaiting indictment, we concluded some investigation, and they are now awaiting indictment. The Buchanan Port case, the indictment will be drawn. That matter was sent to the Ministry of Justice. But under our own statute, the Ministry of Justice in 3 months have failed to prosecute this matter. So the LACC have taken charge to make sure that this matter is prosecuted in keeping with law. The indictment will be drawn out, and the appropriate legal remedy in law will be applied to make sure that the parties not in the country will be extradited. We'll work with the United States Embassy to ensure that those that are involved in the indictment will be brought back to Liberia for prosecution. I know some people will ask how will that happen, but with our new ties that we've established with the United States Embassy, we are prepared to go extra mile to make sure that all those involved in this act of corruption on the Buchanan Port will be prosecuted in keeping with law. The status of concluded investigation. The investigation at the RIA, the investigation finds that the leadership of the Liberia Airport Authority do not take cognizance of the HR policy and financial standing of the institution when considering recruitment of employees at the RIA. The LACC, in the course of the investigation, saw no criminal liability on the part of Bishop Kllr and George Yu, Managing Director and Chief Financial Officer, respectively, in the discharge of their duties. The LACC recommends appropriate HR policies and procedures for the recruitment of staff. That matter is concluded, and subsequently we will be giving them the certificate of clearance to indicate that they have complied to our investigation. As we always told the public, if issue of corruption are reported to us, we need evidence. The LACC will not investigate based on perception. What we dwell on is the issue of best evidence, and that falls within our own doctrine as lawyers. That the high court evidence that have weight, cogent indeed, tangible indeed, will serve as a cornerstone for our investigation. And hearsay evidence will not be admitted in our investigation. So the LACC want to commend those public officials that have complied over the past 4 months with the full-scale investigation at the RIA. And we hope that all those public official ongoing investigation will emanate a good example of Bishop Kllr, George Yu, and the rest that have complied with the investigation. Second, investigative report of allegation of financial improprieties and conflict of interest involving the chairman of the National Education Coalition of Liberia, NICO. NICO was founded in 2018 as a member-based coalition of civil society organizations with focus on educational activities in Liberia. The group comprises of 48 members. On January 1, 2020, the group was awarded a grant of $228,178 from the Global Partnership for Education. The chairman of the board of directors, Edwin Kla Martin, was accused of awarding contract to his own organization outside established procedure regulations amounting to $10,296. This was the basis of our investigation. The investigation found that Mr. Edwin Kla Martin influenced awarding of the contract to his own organization and failed to perform in contravention of the agreement signed by Oxfam, RBS, and Leo. Findings: that Mr. Edwin Kla Martin be made to do full restitution of the amount of $10,200 or be charged and prosecuted for theft of property, misapplication of the trusted property, and conflict of interest, which is a predicate offense of money laundering. The third investigation on our spotlight: investigative report into allegation of corruption and financial improprieties involving officials of the National Transit Authority, NTA. On the 21st day of July 2021, workers of the National Transit Authority initiated a go-slow protest in Monrovia and made a series of allegations against the entity's managing director, Herbert Macaulay, including the award of a contract to a Senegalese company outside the PPCC regulations and the alleged illegal scrapping of the company buses. These allegations, among other things, formed the basis for the investigation. The NCC found that the partnership agreement with Liberia Limited has been entirely pre-financed by the company, and the NTA made no payment to the company in question. The NCC also noted that the scrapping of the company buses was not done in agreement with the General Services Agency, though an amount of $4,000 generated from the scrapping are being placed into legitimate accounts at the United Bank of Africa, UBA. The NCC recommends that the partnership between the NTA and Liberia be reviewed to ensure consistency with the Public Procurement and Concession Commission regulation. The National Transit Authority should ensure that all future scrapping be fully authorized by the General Services Agency. The NCC investigation did not establish criminal liability on the part of the managing director of the National Transit Authority and other members of senior management. Therefore, this investigation has been closed. We also want to commend the authorities of the NTA who complied with the investigation. It shows that their commitment to the combating of corruption. As we indicated, the Commission will not dwell on hearsay. The Commission will not act on the perception. The Commission will act in line of best evidence, cogent evidence, and tangible evidence to substantiate the basis of our investigation. So what the Commission will do on the issue of RIA and NTA, these two investigations have been closed, and the authorities that have been vindicated by the investigation will be issued our certificate of clearance to show their compliance to the investigation. Case 4. Final investigative report on allegation of conflict of interest and financial improprieties into the procurement of thermometers by the by-election by the officials of the National Election Commission. Background for investigation. In early November 2021, it was reported that officials of the National Election Commission rented thermometers at the cost of more than $180,096. It was reported that the Election Commission was conflicted in the award of the contract and did not follow procurement regulations, and there was no value for money. These allegations form the basis for the Commission to conduct investigation. The investigation found that the chairperson of the National Election Commission did not disclose or interest in two-man enterprise while presiding over the procurement committee. During the investigation, Madam Director Brown Lasana admitted and confirmed to the investigation that Mr. David Brown, Vice President for Operation of Two-Man Enterprise, is her brother from the same father, while Anna Badio, owner and incorporator of Two-Man Enterprise Incorporated, is a brother to David Brown from the same mother. The National Election Commission also awarded a certificate of completion to Two-Man Enterprise on October 24, 2021, and paid a full amount of $182,320, while the stipulated date for the contract to end was November 20, 2021. The Liberia Anti Corruption Commission therefore recommends the following: that David Ethel Brown Lasana, in the discharge of her duty as chairperson of the National Election Commission and head of the Procurement Committee of the NEC, knowing full well of her vested interest relationship in Two-Man Enterprise Incorporated, and having failed to make full disclosure to her fellow commissioners or to the Procurement Committee, is liable of the following counts: Section 1.3.6, conflict of interest of the National Code of Conduct for all public officials and employees of the government of Liberia. Part 2, Section 3.2 of the Act establishing the Liberia Anti Corruption Commission described insider trading as an act of corruption. Also, in violation of Section 15.3, predicate offenses for money laundering under Section 15.2 of the Money Laundering Act of 2012, which provides insider trading and market manipulation. Subsequent indictment will be due for court prosecution. On the issue of the Creative Development Incorporated, in which the LSCC Vice Chairperson, Councillor Kanyo Bagbala, is involved, I want to inform the press that one of the matters that was sent to the Commission by the Ministry of Justice, and that matter is still undergoing investigation, and thereafter the press will be informed. Thank you for coming.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for your participation in this press conference.
So, folks, that was the voice of Councillor Edwin Kla Martin, the Executive Chairperson of the Liberia Anti Corruption Commission, addressing a very major press conference. This is Spoon TV. Thank you so much for following. Keep following Spoon TV Liberia for more news and developmental issues. I've been Edwin Kla. Thank you.